Hello, and here's a short video just talking about the distributor's cutout or service cutout or service head, or you might just hear people talking about, can you go and find the head? And this is what they're talking about, this thing here, this little black box. So what I can see on here, this is a single phase service head. There's only the one fuse up here, which we'll look at in a second. I can then see there's one service cable coming in and there's one service cable going out as well. That's because this is a semi-detached house, and so I think what they've done is they've brought the power from the pole outside down the house into our house and then next door into next door's house. This service head is just above the front door, and this is often where you'll find them, especially where the cables have come down from a pole in the street. You might also find these somewhere like under the stairs, if you have a little look under there, or more often, especially on the newer built houses, you'll find them in a plastic box outside of the property. So just looking a little bit closer at the service head then. Essentially what it is a live and neutral terminal which connects onto some other cables coming out of the top. And you've also got a 1361 cartridge fuse. I can see on the side, you probably can't see it on here, but it actually says that it's a 60 amp cartridge fuse. Also then you can see can you see that little wire there? That's a anti-tamper wire, and the reason for that is this isn't our property. We're not allowed to tamper with it in any way. One thing, as it says here, is completely dangerous. Yeah, you could get seriously electrocuted. They don't want anyone messing with their property. So what you would have to do if this fuse blew, you'd have to call UK Power Networks to come in and replace that fuse. Yes, you could replace it yourself if you had permission or you were authorized to do so, but generally electricians aren't authorized, so they're not allowed to go near it. We know that we've got a live and neutral in here. The live phase, this phase goes through the fuse, and then you can see these brown and blue single cables, 25mm single PVC cables. You'd call those tails, meter tails. These tails go along here into the meter. So this meter is then owned by British Gas. And this is a smart meter. You can see it flickering away and it's sending back and storing information about how much electricity we're using. From there, carries on into the fuse board. As well then, we have got an earth cable whizzing along here. You can see that this little label here telling us we shouldn't remove this connection because it's obviously quite a serious thing to do with safety. And that cable whizzes along here into, I can just about see it in there, that is the MET or main earth terminal. That's the main earth terminal, which then goes off to things like water and gas pipes and obviously off to the fuse board. So just to be aware again, so this is not our property. This is British Gas's property, okay? Everything that we are supposed to work on is beyond the meter. Everything beyond the meter, electricians are allowed to work on. If anything needs to happen here, you're supposed to call up UK Power Networks to sort out your service head, or whoever the client pays their bill to. It could be British Gas, it could be EDF, it could be Good Energy. There's loads of different providers of electricity. Let's just look now at how this is earthed. How we get our connection to all our bits of equipment in the house and earth it. So connecting it to the mass of earth, which is 0 volts. So the three types of earth that I would like everyone to get their heads around and get a good idea of is TT, TNS and TNCS. I can tell that this earth is provided by a TNCS supply. So that means that this earth cable that you can see going into the service head, once it gets inside the service head, it actually connects to the neutral. So that's the C part of our TNCS, because that's saying that the neutral and the earth are combined. Neutral and earth are combined into what is known as a PEN, or protective earthed neutral. So that neutral, as well as carrying current and completing our circuits and making those work, it also provides a reference to earth as well. So it's a very important cable. So that's done, that little bit of work is done inside the service head. So again, nothing that we're allowed to touch. This is all done for us by the distributor. So what's the S bit about? The S bit is separate. And what that tells us is, although the earth and the neutral are combined back to the service transformer out in the street somewhere, the earths and the neutrals are separate inside our installation. They're separate inside our installation, just like you have done in the workshop, where you've built different circuits where you've got separate live, neutral and CPC. You've got all those separate. But once we get to the service head, they then combine the earth and the neutral there. So why is it not a TNS system? It's not a TNS system because if it was TNS, which would be the neutral and the earth separate, what you'd find is from the MET, your cable would come along and they would place it on the sheathing of the cable. They would earth it on a metallic part of the sheathing on there. So you would literally see a connection on the service cables there. So then why is it not a TT system? A TT system is where you put in your own earth electrode or earth rod directly in the ground. So the way I'd tell that this isn't TT is because there wouldn't be an earth cable anywhere near this. We would come to this service head and there wouldn't be an earth here, okay? You wouldn't see anything there, which would tell me, hang on a second, I think they've probably got an earth rod here because there's no earth connection on the service head. So what you would probably find is one of the cables going from the MET will find its way off through the installation to a earth electrode. Okay, I hope that's a little bit useful for you.